All right, we want to welcome you, all of you who are watching us from different parts of the country. Exactly, I want to welcome my colleague, the usual panelist, the senior mental health journalist. From there, then we start. We want to basically start from somewhere, but first introduce and I tell you where we should start from.
All right, thank you, our dear viewers, for making it to Haki Show always. And Leonard Kamgisha Akida, and I'm glad to be here again. I hope wherever you are enjoying the show. Thank you.
All right, so the last time we talked about men's mental health, and that's when we discovered that the society expects men not to cry.
Yeah.
Because of the nature. Now, today we want to start from there because I think people had various issues about men. We looked at quite a lot. Now we want a question. Our first question in particular is, how is this expectation from the society affecting men's mental health? The expectation the public, the society has about men has affected men's mental health.
Thank you. It's such an interesting question. Someone told me that when you see a man who has been strong, who has stayed strong his entire life, break down and cry, then you will understand that being a man is not a child's play.
Being a
Someone told me that when you see a man who has stayed strong his entire life, break down and cry, then you will know, you will understand that being a man is no child's play.
There's no child's play.
So when you see someone who has been so strong, breaking down, crying like a baby, then you will know that being a man comes with a lot of responsibilities, a lot of burdens, and all those are mental health struggles. So our society, as we said last week, has a lot of expectations. I have ever read a book called The Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. So society expects a lot of things from men, which those things have negatively impacted men's mental health. Like we said, society doesn't expect a man to cry. Just like my friend just said, that when you see a man who has stayed strong, breaking down and crying, then you know being a man is not a child's play. Society thinks that as a man you have to be strong. Whether you have debts, whether you have lost a job, you have lost a dear one, society doesn't expect you as a man to cry.
Right, yeah.
So what does it mean? In spirituality, we say crying heals the heart.
Crying heals the heart.
Yeah. And then opticians say tears clean
the
eyes. So it means that since society says that the men do not cry, the soul has not been healed and the eyes have not
been cleaned.
And then in mental health, we say your mental health now is becoming prone. Is now prone. Your brains, your heart, your emotions are now prone to mental illnesses or mental health disorders. That's how depression comes in. That's how stress comes in. That's how anxiety comes in. There are other things that society think men cannot do.
Yeah. They are not of men.
They are not of men. You are faced with a challenge. You have a friend. You want to share with him. Society thinks that as a man, you can deal with it. But not every problem you can deal with it. Some problems need to be shared with other people so that you can find solution. That's why we have mental health support. We have counselors. We have occupational therapists where you can go and get mental health support. But society doesn't expect you to do what? To be that side. It expects you always to be strong. There are quite many things how society expectations have impacted men's mental health. There are very many. Society expects a man to be successful.
Yeah.
In Africa, if you are not a student, they expect you at 18 years at least have like a house, a hut. In African setup, a hut
Where you stay.
where you stay.
Mm.
So they don't expect you to be staying with your what? With your parents. Recently, I saw a memo on WhatsApp. Someone is saying that intumira kw'abazadde ababeerewo abazadde baabwe. You see?
That's violence.
Ntumira kw'abazadde ababeerewo abazadde baabwe. So if now it is worse, the other person was especially was targeting ladies, but it is worse when it is targeting men.
Abazadde
Hey,
ababeera
mu bazadde
bazadde
baabwe.
baabwe.
So in Africa, if you are not a student at 25, a man, society expects you to have a house, to have land, the land you have bought in your names, not your father's share.
Sure, yeah.
To have a wife, to have children, and to have animals. You get it? Because they look at men as people who have the potentials and the abilities to be successful in life, but they don't consider the other side of the coin, that oluusi bikola ki? Bigana. Eh? So if on your side bigana, society will say you are a failure.
Yeah. Now, because you have said here quite the discussion is bigger when it comes to how the society expectation affects men's mental health. But now here comes in a question. What should men do?
What should men do?
What should men do? Society expects them also. We have seen the impact of how this impacts directly to their mental health. What should we do?
We have a challenge that we are facing today because of these societal expectations. We are producing, or we are raising men who think that speaking up, who think that admitting that they cannot do something will make them feel weak.
Come again?
We are raising a generation of men who think that speaking up their mental challenges, that admitting they cannot do this thing will make them look weak and failures in society. So what do men need to do? We need to accept the vulnerability. Let us accept that we are vulnerable.
Yes, at a given point.
At a given point. Let us accept that I cannot manage to pay school fees for my children as fast as other people can do. As fast as my wife expects me to do. You get it? Accept that now we are approaching Christmas season. Very many families are going to break up
over issues of they have not bought me this.
They have not bought me this type of clothes. They have not done this.
They have not given me money for hair.
We are in a modern world. Your wife is celebrating a birthday, is an expectant mother. You haven't done a baby shower. Now she starts looking at you as a weak man because her friends, husbands are holding for them baby showers. Now, you find men are overworking. They are even acquiring loans. Please, society. Please, someone, because you want to show that you are strong. Now, the best thing men will do is to transit from strength to vulnerability.
At some point.
Yeah. Don't please anyone. Admit that I cannot afford this. If it is a baby shower, sit down and say, I cannot admit to do a baby shower of like 1 million shillings or more for my wife. What I can afford is to buy a small cook of around 20,000. We'll cook it at home. We celebrate together. Accepting such vulnerability that there are things you cannot do will not only help you overcome the loans I was talking about, the challenges of overthinking, anxiety, but it will also do a service to your mental health. There are very many things. Society expects you to be owning a car at 25 years. But you cannot afford it. What you can afford is a bicycle. Go for what you can afford. Abaganda bagamba enkoko ekola ki?
egegerera kyenesobola
Aha na nkore wise enkoko neshonde kyekumera.
ekyokumera
You cannot bite what you cannot chew, in other words. So, as men, we need to accept that we are vulnerable to some things. We have to accept that we need to speak up.
Yeah.
And then, after we have admitted that we are vulnerable, it is when we are going to improve our mental well-being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have talked about the point of vulnerability, of accepting to cross from strength to this, and this is quite realistic. Men do all what they are doing to make sure that they emphasize their point in the society, that indeed I can manage this. That behind, you find that the person is doing it at his cost, after a loan, after like borrowing here and there, putting in this to get the other, to ensure that he satisfies the community, satisfies one gender, satisfies the needs of the of the society.
The people, yeah.
Now, but let's look at the point of the vulnerability. How is this vulnerability of effect to the man?
Now, we need to reach. Yeah, we need to reach at a point where we need to say, "I'm enough." As a man, you need to accept and say, "I am enough." And how will that help you? You will say, "I'm enough. I don't have to be perfect." At a certain point, I'm imperfect. You get it? So society, which has been expecting you to be 100% perfect, after you have accepted that you're vulnerable and you will say that I'm enough, then you will admit your imperfections. Two, you will need to say, I'm still growing. Society expects you to have many things, but you cannot afford them, but there is a chance you're still growing. You may acquire such wealth. So say, I'm still growing.
Yeah.
Then we say, I have weaknesses. Accept that you have weaknesses. Don't work to please everyone, and you end up even doing mistakes that are going to cost your mental health. Then another one, you say, I don't have to know everything.
Yeah.
Boli musajja kyatamanyi kino. No, you cannot know everything about something, but you can know something about everything. Yeah.
You can know something
about
everything.
Anything. But you cannot know everything on everything. You get it? And then you need to say, I'm doing what is best for me.
I'm doing my best.
I'm doing my best. Because no one will appreciate you, so you need to be thankful. Appreciate yourself. If what you can afford is a Toyota Vitis,
yes,
you say I'm doing my best.
My best.
If another one what you can afford is a TX, a V8, let them also say they are doing their best. But you as an individual appreciate what you have. I think in our previous talks, there is a point where you say that you cannot know the value of something until you lose it.
It first goes,
yeah.
Then you say, this was important.
And then vulnerability will help men to improve their mental health. How? Because it has come with self-care. If you have known that you are vulnerable, if you have known that you are weak, if you have known that you have imperfections, now self-care comes in. Instead of working to please people, now you're going to get that money and spend it on yourself as well.
Yeah.
You have been buying 10 bottles of beer to please people that you have money. Now you will use that money, buy that beer for yourself, and then spend some portion of it on other more important things. So tomorrow people have been calling you this and that, you will find yourself changing your life.
Yeah.
You get it? Have a nice street. Take yourself a nice street. Move around. Have a tour. Such stuffs are good for your mental health because you are going to relieve all those stresses, the worries, the fears, and the anxiety that society has been imposing on you.
All right. Now, I've loved the thing of I'm enough. And indeed, from there,
Uh-huh.
I'm enough.
Mm.
Hack show with whatever is happening, with what Mr. Hacker is, I'm enough.
You are enough.
I'm enough.
And you'll see yourself improving
Yes.
it more than you even ever
And I
expected.
need to appreciate the little, the
Mm.
what I have,
Yeah.
so that I can be able to move on my pace without yearning for what will bring my issues with my mental health.
Yeah.
That and more has been at Hakisho Be Aware, the only episode where we sit with me and with my senior journalist about mental health. And here we are still driving the issue of men. And anyway, someone was asking,
Mm.
does this mean that women don't go through the mental health?
Hey.
Who's next?
As we said
Hey.
last week during our discussion,
Mm.
we said that mental health is non-discriminatory.
Mm.
It affects everyone.
Mm.
It affects men, it affects women, it affects children, it
Mm.
affects the rich and the
Affects
poor
yeah.
and the moderate.
Mm.
We are all candidates of mental
Mm.
health
Mm.
challenges.
Mm.
But why are we specifically targeting men?
Men, yeah.
These are the people that society looks at as
Mm.
strong people.
Mm.
Society thinks men are not vulnerable.
Yeah.
You get
yeah,
it?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
statistically, we say that 84 men a week take their own lives. 84 men every week. Today it's a Sunday.
Yeah.
So it means that from Monday up to today, 84 men across the world
84
have committed suicide.
across the world.
Across the world.
Mm.
And these are the numbers that go reported. There are very many numbers that go unreported. You can imagine how many are they.
Those are
And 75% of all suicide across the world are men. Remember, when we started this show, according to the statistics I gave you, I said that every time if you close your eyes today, in 1 second, about 700,000 people have committed suicide.
Mm. In just a blink of an eye.
In a blink of an eye.
Mm.
Rather 10,000. And then annually with that's how we get about 700 something.
Mm.
You get it?
Mm.
So they are saying that out of that 10,000, 75% are men.
Mm.
And then statistics still show that 25% of men live with mental illnesses.
Mm.
They are depressed, they have anxiety, they have stress, bipolar, to mention but a few.
Mm.
So when we choose a topic that men's mental health,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that we are neglecting the women.
Or meaning
or
that
children.
women
No.
are exonerated.
They are not being exonerated,
Yeah.
but we are looking at these men who constitute the highest number.
Yeah.
We need to reduce on that number.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. 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 So they are not exonerated.
They are not exonerated.
Neither they are safe.
That
but only
is.
that we are looking at the men because
Mm.
we are the white cloth in the public,
Yeah.
which can easily be seen.
Mm.
Anyway, it has been Hack Show Be Aware, and where we are discussing men's mental health.